I absolutely adore PC gaming. I started dipping in with a bit of Age of Empires and The Sims almost 18 years ago, but then, in 2011, I started saving up for a proper gaming PC, and I simply haven't looked back since. And it's for this exact reason that I wanted to put together this video. Something that will go through and share my love of the platform and show you all of the benefits to making the switch. And I know there's a lot of comments out there, things that will bash consoles, but this isn't that sort of channel and it never will be. There's pros and cons to both, but I simply want to show you why you will love PC gaming. PC gaming of course begins with a gaming computer, and for this video I've been using an excellent mid-range PC from 3XS Systems, who were kind enough to sponsor this very video. It's incredibly easy to build or buy a gaming computer, and it needn't cost you several £1000s just to get gaming. The mid-range PC that 3XS sent out is built in the gorgeous Metafy C case, and then it utilises an i5 processor and a GTX 1070 Ti for fantastic gaming performance. If you do want to learn more about this particular computer, or of course find a PC that perfectly matches your individual needs, I'll have links to everything featured down below. Now there are so many things to talk about with the platform, but I think there's one thing in particular that I've always really appreciated, and it's something that a lot of people don't always realise, and that's flexibility. A gaming computer can do so much, and you can spec it out to do pretty much anything that you want. There are very few limits with what you can actually achieve, as you can choose to set up your gaming space however you like. There are plenty of gamers that will be using a mouse and keyboard and then they'll sit at a desk in the traditional manner, but there's no reason you can't play with a wireless controller and then throw yourself on the couch or your bed. I personally love a mouse and keyboard for first person games, but then I always switch to a controller for games like Tomb Raider and Dirt Rally. You'll also have complete control over the screen you use, whether it's a gigantic 4K TV, a super fast 1080p monitor, or an absolutely huge ultra-wide display. It's really surprising just how much of a difference this can actually make, but ultimately there isn't a single best option, so you can try out each one to see which works for you. And of course this is all before we even talk about the computer itself, that you can tailor to your exact needs and desires. Dream big and make it as powerful as you can, creating a centerpiece to your setup, or maybe you go for something small and discreet that you can easily tuck away out of sight. We're all different, and it's great to have a platform that's just so welcoming to everyone with open arms. So it's fantastic to have something that is so flexible, but I think if you ask a lot of PC gamers, there's something else that stands out for them as a real must-have feature for any game they want to play, and that is a higher unlocked frame rate. Now to learn why this is actually important, you need to look at one of the advantages of console games, which is the fact that they're all running on the exact same hardware, and as such the developers can target a set frame rate for smoothness. The issue with this though is that you're often forced to play at 30 frames a second, which while fine for plenty of people, just is not acceptable for others. Now I know this statement might seem a little bit elitist and it brings the whole 30 versus 60 argument into play, but realistically playing at 60 frames a second is always better in my book than playing at 30. And while some games it won't make so much of a difference, the fact that you have the choice almost in every single title is a serious advantage for the PC. And this is before we even talk about even higher frame rates, as many monitors can actually run above 120 frames a second, which results in an extremely smooth and immersive gaming experience. If you do want to learn a little bit more about frame rate, then I've actually already covered this in detail in another video, and you can find this at the top right hand corner of your screen. Leading on nicely from increased frame rate is increased fidelity and higher graphical settings that can make your game look that a little bit better. Now the PS4 Pro and Xbox One X are certainly very impressive, but grab a high-end PC and you can get true 4K 60 frames a second at even higher quality settings. This means that you can explore gorgeous worlds that look ridiculously lifelike, and I'll admit that I'm guilty of spending at least 100 hours in the world of The Witcher 3, and damn that game looks good. But of course it does go the other way too, as maybe you're not quite so fussed about the way it looks, and you'd rather trade quality for extra frame rate. Well, with PC gaming, you can do this in any game, and the sweet spot is entirely down to you and your individual preference. Next up, we need to talk about the games themselves. Can you believe we haven't even mentioned them yet? And one of the key arguments for consoles is that you've got some great exclusives, things like Halo, The Last of Us, God of War, all of these are fantastic. But a lot of people forget that the PC has its own exclusives too. Esports are classic examples, with Dota, League and Counter-Strike among the most popular. Indie developers also love the PC, as the huge audience and lower development costs mean that it's often easier for them to turn a profit, and as such there's more games available. Then there's the mouse and keyboard to consider. The exclusive tools mean that you can make games that just don't really work with a controller, and as such there's a vast library ready for you to explore. And because the PC doesn't have generation cycles, you can go back and play games of old without forking out for a remaster. I think I'd also get lynched if I didn't mention the Steam sales, where you can get games for a stupidly low price, and then there's modding to consider, where you can alter your favourite games with new mechanics, maps or visuals to breathe new life into your favourite games. So I think that when you get all of these things and you combine them together, you get something that is honestly really compelling. And for me, I love how it really became a hobby for me. It gave me something to do, something to think about, something to discuss with friends, what's going to be the right thing to do. I think I spent months actually picking the components for my first PC build. I really enjoyed it, but likewise, if you don't want that, it's entirely optional. I think the most common misconceptions with PC gaming is that it's really expensive, you need this big, ugly, huge tower, and you're going to have to upgrade it every single year just to keep up. But the truth of the matter is that people do spend a lot on PCs, but it's because they love the platform. Almost like doing up a car, it becomes their hobby. You don't have to spend the money, but you're likely to get pleasure from doing so. Once again, this is not a video designed to hate on consoles, to tell you to throw it in the bin, because I'm actively using my PlayStation at the moment for God of War and Detroit. I think that would be a little bit hypocritical of me. Both have their place and there are advantages and disadvantages to either. But PC for me is always going to be my platform of choice. There is so many things that I love about it, it really is brilliant. Once again, a massive thank you to 3XS Systems for sponsoring this video. If you do want to get started with PC gaming, maybe learn more about pricing or just check out some of their PCs or computer parts, you can find it all linked in the description below. While you're there, you can also check out all of the stuff that I use on a daily basis. But if you have enjoyed this video, please hit that like button as it lets others know that this is a video worth watching. Do get subscribed if you want more PC related videos. And if you are new to PC gaming, then PC Gaming Explained is the name of this series. You can find more videos in the top right hand corner of this screen or probably in the end screen. Thank you for watching though, I hope you've enjoyed it and I'll see you next time.